everybody. Thanks for joining me today on Zoom, and then for those of you in person. My name is Alex Karlesses. I'm the Assistant Director of Career Development as well as the International Student Liaison. So hopefully for this next couple minutes or so, I'll just be able to talk to you a little bit about resources that Villanova has that will help you with your specific approach to professional development. A couple of things I wanted to review today are specific, again, resources that the Career Center is going to provide you when talking about your approach to your job and graduate school search, particularly for those of you who are considering PhD programs after the length of your master's program. So the first result and resource today that I really wanted to make sure that I emphasize to all of you is this resource called InterStride, which is a comprehensive one-stop shop platform that is specifically designated to help international students with the job search. So you have free access to this with your Villanova ID and email. All you will have to do is create an account through single sign-on. And there are a couple of ways that you would be able to access this. You can access it via Handshake or on Career Connections, which is our the Career Center's, like, it's basically the revised version of our website. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a few minutes. But InterStride has 4 main tabs when you log on. It is a job search platform where you're actually able to cycle through and search job postings not only by industry, but by the visa type as well, and even search by city in the United States or even by country if you are looking to expand your job search even globally past the United States. We also have some tabs that focus on networking, career guidance, and even some webinars and other types of resources that focus on immigration tools. Perfect. So again, with InterStride, I would just make sure that everyone is, if you take one thing away from this presentation today, to make sure that you create an account, create your profile. It works very similarly to LinkedIn. In fact, if you already have a LinkedIn profile, you can sync that to your InterStride platform for seamless ease of access. So again, on there, we're going to have job portals, career resources. They host several webinars that talk about the international approach to job search strategies, as well as you're able to even network with other international students on there through chat features. And also, of course, they add in some visa and immigration guidance in addition to country guides if you're looking to, again, expand your search beyond the United States and look at other countries to live in after graduation. Moving right along, another thing that I also wanted to make sure that you saw in a little bit more depth is the jobs platform on InterStride. So it has a job search function. You're able to search by job title, a particular industry, or again, even visa types. That I believe they have H1, J1, and H1B visas all included on there. They also offer US visa insights, which I find to be particularly useful for students. So what I mean by this is they have a widespread list of companies that are globally based, and they actually have a history right in InterStride. If you click on that particular company, let's say Amazon, and you would actually be able to look at that company's history of successfully sponsoring candidates when they applied for a position. So I think it just helps international students be able to better hedge their bets, is how I like to phrase it, in terms of how much time they might want to invest in one job application over another. So for example, Amazon is a bigger company with a larger amount of resources, and they tend to invest a lot more in global and international talent and understand that the value of it and have more resources to devote to it, paying those salaries, as well as a human resources departments that's more just well equipped and updated on these governmental regulations surrounding immigration. So because of that, their sponsorships tend to be a lot more plentiful and a lot more successful versus a company that might be a little bit smaller in size and just might not have the resources that they are able to dispense to categories like that or hiring international talent. So you can just kind of know what jobs that you might want to spend, like with this helpful context from InterStride, which jobs you might want to focus more of your time towards, and which ones you might not want to spend as much time on. Another thing like that I was mentioning as well that InterStride does really well is this networking feature. So you can opt in to receive messages from other international students, not just from Villanova, because you already have that built-in network here, but from US universities across the country. So you can create topics similar to like how Facebook groups work that really draw in your interest as well. And then the second to last tab that I also want to make sure that you're aware of in InterStride is the Learn tab. So there are 3 subcategories. One that's entirely devoted to webinars on immigration status, how to search for jobs in the US, the US networking style. So if you're going to a job or career fair, how to adjust to that, and talk about cultural capacities. As well as resources like podcasts, articles, and YouTube videos, both from InterStride and then from some other third-party resources as well. And even student services, which I find to be pretty unique about this particular platform. So they'll give you advice on banking, if you need to rent furniture, housing information, insurance info, as well as things for your taxes and whatnot. So if you're someone who plans to live in the US for long term or has just gotten here and wants to adapt more to some of these harder to come by and more dense topics, again, like tax information or housing, they have a lot of really great reputable resources on their website as well too. So again, I would just make sure at your earliest convenience to, especially if you're very serious about looking for international friendly and sponsorship friendly jobs, to make sure that you are creating an account with InterStride. And if you would like a more detailed walkthrough on this webinar, I actually have one posted from a representative from InterStride who gives you a pretty thorough overview on how to create an account, what it looks like, how to make the best and get the most use out of a profile on there. And that is available on Career Connections under our resources page, which I will show you in a moment. And then the last page that I want to make sure that you are aware of for InterStride is the Tools tab, which is, sorry, let me just play around with this. It's like, this can look different for every person who creates an InterStride account. It includes a checklist for career development plan. So if you just are someone that likes a list, likes an action plan, and to hold yourself accountable with to-do tasks and items, you would actually be able to customize based on your own personal professional development goals by adding new tasks or subtasks to things like creating a resume, creating a cover letter, creating an account with InterStride, applying to 5 jobs, attending a career fair, whatever your personal goals might be. And if you're not really sure where to start with all of this or where you should be at in your professional development journey, it actually has a built-in quiz called the Career Game Plan that reports back on your progress and gives you suggestions and resources to improve your overall career readiness for the job market. The next most useful tool that I think will be helpful to you as a student at Villanova is Handshake, which you all at this point might already have an account. If you do not, I suggest that you get on that as soon as possible. This is also a job search platform. It is not specifically designed for international students. However, there is a feature on there where you're also able to search for sponsorship-friendly and H-1B visa-friendly employers and employers that are willing to sponsor. So I would recommend that in addition to your account with InterStride, that you also are creating an account with Handshake and looking at both places. This is where I get a lot of our data from when our companies come to recruit with us. I usually am able to look at their Handshake profile and discern whether or not they are sponsorship friendly. So a lot of this data that I pull for you guys comes from Handshake. So make sure that you register, create your profile the same way that you would do with InterStride. And again, make sure that you are filtering your employers by either CPT, OPT status, or willing to sponsor. Around 27% of our employers currently that recruit at Villanova accept some type of OPT or CPT status student. Finally, while you're here, I also recommend that you visit us as well. You as an international student have just as much access to resources here at the Career Center as any domestic student. So I would recommend that before you even get started with the job search, to make sure that your application materials are looking good and that you feel confident about them. So what I mean by that is when you are applying to a job, most of you might already be aware of this, is you will have to have some form of resume or CV, a cover letter expressing your interest in the job, and need to know how to correspond appropriately with employers and recruiters that are coming and are interested in you as a candidate. So I would recommend coming to the Career Center, scheduling an appointment either with me or any one of my colleagues to review your resume. If you have questions about your cover letters or your CV, we can review those too. And then we also offer practice interviews as well. So if you are not particularly sure what an interview in the US or interviewing styles might be like, or just want some practice, we are more than happy to help you with that. If you also just want a little bit more advice on how to more appropriately use Interstride or how to use Handshake properly, we can help you with those basic search strategies as well too. If you are also interested in pursuing a PhD program, if you're not already in one, we also offer graduate school advice, as well as advice on your LinkedIn and how to develop a LinkedIn profile if you want to boost your online presence. And if you are interested in getting a professional headshot, so your pictures look appropriate for your LinkedIn profile or Interstride or Handshake profiles, we actually have a headshot booth that you are more than welcome to rent. I believe one gentleman has already done that today, which is awesome. So you can come in at any time and you can book an appointment to make your headshot by calling us or scheduling an appointment on Handshake as well. Which is also something I want to mention that I forgot to in my Handshake slide. If you would like to schedule an appointment with the Career Center, you can either do that by calling us. Oh no, the lights. Thanks, Casey. You can either do that by calling us on the phone or scheduling an appointment with us on Handshake. So that's another reason why I would say make sure that you have a presence on Handshake, even if it's just to schedule appointments. One other piece of advice that I like to make sure that students are aware of is you also have access to what is called Big Interview, which is an online interview training system and virtual interviewing software. We do offer in-person one-on-one practice interviews, but if you are someone that likes to practice on your own time, whenever you would like, I would just recommend logging onto the software. It's all free with your single sign-on Villanova email address, and you can actually practice for your interview with computer prompted questions. So it might feel a little strange at first, but I think it's really nice to know that the questions that you are being asked most likely will be asked of you at one point or another during your during an interview, particularly in the United States. So you're also able to review your answers and go at your own pace, as well as have an in-person option should you like to book it at the Career Center too. Seems to be stuck. Lastly, I also wanted to make sure that you are aware of one of these professional development resources. It's pretty new to the Career Center. It's called Career Connections, and it is basically a one-stop shop for all things professional development. And so we have resume templates on there, cover letters, interviewing advice, salary negotiation, but we also have a page that's specifically dedicated to international students. So I post a lot of relevant blogs from either Interstride or other third-party resources. Hubert, my colleague, who you will meet in a few minutes, has graciously written a letter about frequently asked and answering frequently asked questions for international students, particularly as it relates to how to prepare for career fairs and other helpful advice about the job search. And it just has a lot of really great information. That webinar to walk through Interstride is also on there as well. So what I would want you to do is type in Career Connections Villanova into Google. It should be the first result that pops up, and the international page will be on there as well. So just make sure that periodically you're stopping by to check that page to make sure that you're staying up to date on all relevant information and future events that are geared towards international students. Can't read what I wrote there. Yeah, so a little bit more about Career Connections, we also have a calendar of events on there as well. I am hosting 2 events, which I'll talk about in a second, that are specifically geared towards international students. So all of that registration information is going to be available on that web page. One final word that I want to say about the career fair. So we had our career fair for this past fall in September, early September on the 4th. And I just feel free to take a screenshot of this slide or write down some of these companies. I'm happy to send Casey a copy of these slides afterwards too. So you just have this, but this was a list of companies that said that they were willing to sponsor or at least talk with candidates about sponsorship that attended the fall career fair. We are having another one in the spring where I expect to find some of these employers registering again. But I just want to make sure that you are aware that there are companies out there that they state that they are willing to hire international talent. So if you are new to the job search or looking for opportunities, you might want to start with these companies. Last but not least, we also have access to, as a part of the Villanova Career Center, we have access to a survey that we send out every year to all of our graduates, both in undergrad and graduate students as well. And we ask them where they're going after graduation. Some say that they are continuing education at another university and pursuing graduate school, and some say that they are pursuing full-time employment. I surveyed international students to see where they were ending up. And from this past year, this was again, feel free to screenshot this slide. This was a list of all of the companies that they were able to successfully obtain sponsorship with and be able to be fully employed with them, meaning they were working more than 40 hours a week at this company. So be sure to, again, screenshot this slide if you would need to. I will send a copy of them after this presentation is complete. But again, if you are just beginning your job search, you might want to check with these companies to begin with, because positively speaking, it just seems that these were the companies that most recently were able to successfully grant sponsorship to students. And just some quick reminders for you all. Again, main takeaways: be sure that you are registering for both an InterStride and Handshake account. Check them frequently. Job searching is not something that can be done inside a day or even a week. And I say that for every student, regardless of their status, their immigration status in this country. So just make sure that you're giving yourself enough time, at least a few months, to allot for this journey and for this undertaking. If you have any questions at all, please book an appointment at the Career Center by either calling us or scheduling an appointment on Handshake. And if you do have an upcoming job interview or just want to perfect your resume, again, we are here to help. If for some reason your class schedule or just your schedule in life does not permit you from scheduling an appointment with us, we also have daily drop-in hours every day from 12 to 2 in the Career Center. They're also virtual on Fridays. So if you just have a quick question that you want answered, these appointments are 15 minutes, first come, first serve, no appointment required. We also will have a career fair in every fall and spring. So if you miss this one, please do not worry. We should be having one in early February as well. Make sure that you are subscribing to Career Connections and checking the international student page on Career Connections as well. Finally, upcoming events that I will be hosting. I am hosting a inclusive hiring meetup on Wednesday, September 18th from 5 to 7, so tomorrow. Companies that are looking to hire people from diverse perspectives with a specific mind towards both international talent and students from minoritized backgrounds, I would really recommend that you attend and look at the employers that will be available to register on Handshake. I am also hosting an international student open house, much like this one, on Tuesday, October 1st from 6 to 7 right here in the Career Center. So if you want your resume looked at, if you want to talk with people about specific industries that you are interested in, please feel free to stop by at any point between 6 and 7 p.m. Finally, in early November, I am also hosting our second annual International Student and Employer Meetup on Wednesday, November 6th from 2 to 4 p.m. This event will be virtual on Handshake. So you will actually be able to register for this in a few weeks and browse the number of employers that we have that have exclusively said that they would like to hire and are willing to sponsor international candidates for opening positions at their company. So I would just make sure that you look at this event on Handshake, browse the employers that are coming. You can even create your own personalized schedule to make sure that you have one-on-one time available with those employers. And with that, just a few reminders about where we are located, as I'm sure Casey aptly mentioned, but feel free to email us. We are open Monday through Friday in between the hours of 9 to 5 p.m. and feel free to call us there as well. And we are located again in Gary Hall, room 117. Like I said, my name is Alex Karlesses. You can find me on Handshake. Casey, feel free to forward my contact info to anybody who is interested in chatting a little bit more. But thank you all so much for your time today. I look forward to hopefully seeing you on campus at one of our events soon.